Hello, guys. How's everyone doing? It is Friday. Yay, excited. I'm so excited it's Friday. Did I actually no, I didn't. Okay, I'm good. I'm good. I think we're good, so we're gonna just swap on over and hope that the computer doesn't crash. Hooray, it didn't crash. Hey, robot. How are you doing? Oh, look. The camera's blurry. Come on, focus on me. Yes. Okay. Yes. We'll get this up and running. Change our exposure and our focus value. Wake it up a bit. Hello, robot. How are you doing? How was your week? How was your Christmas? Our tea is still very hot. I can't actually get any sip out of it. How exciting! You're gonna try and make a dice bag. That is exciting. Hopefully the music is at a good volume. You guys don't need to see my PJs. So I have successfully finished priming up a Lady of Arcana. She is no longer feeling tacky or anything. So what we're going to do is pretty much do adaptive zenithal on her as well. So we're going to do a full wash over her body and then do a dry brush over top to kind of help fill in the different bits. Happens to sell rabbit pelts. Whoa, I had no idea Hobby Lobby sold rabbit pelts. That's crazy. And yeah, so this is the base. Like there's a dark side underneath. And so she fits onto this pretty much right on the top. She still has a sticky tack on her apparently from when I was doing the primer. I knew I forgot sticky tack somewhere. There we go. But yeah, so she goes onto here. And that line is pretty difficult to see except for that one little black spot there. And her wings still fit on perfectly fine, so we are pretty much good to go with her in general. Can I say cat hair is an added feature on the model? I make the actual umbrella part of the umbrella and... Oh, sweet! I am so looking forward to that. I really honestly am. It's going to be... getting my own Totoro. It'll go beside my well, when I do eventually finish him, because we all know my track record of finishing models, is he will be beside my Mononorki. And everything will be good. Good to go. So, once again, we're going to do the shadows, and I wonder if I should do with a bit of blue mixture into the... I will do a fancier base, yes. Or, if anything, do the bus stop area and figure out a good model to put beside him. Because that would be kind of, in my mind, that would be kind of funny. So we had some of that. So there we go. Mix that up. But yeah, when I get him, we'll figure out a good base design. So we're just going to quickly just throw in this wash. This is basically to help reinstate the shadows. But you don't want too much piling up in areas, but this is just to help you visually see the details again that can get blinded out a bit from using a white primer. the white primer, even though for Zenithal is very useful, your visual mind, you visually lose track of some of the details. So the wash helps just really bring those back up again. But of course, you had to let the primer fully cure before you do this, just because washes really like to lift up paint. And especially really loves to lift up primer, I've noticed, if you do this too early. I've also noticed it does that with like scale 75 paint. If you don't let that cure on its surface long enough, it'll start picking that up too. And since I want her to be, essentially, I want her to be perfect. She's going to be my perfect model. And go as perfect as I can get. And so we're going to let that dry just briefly as we move on. And we'll work on the next one. Now, the reason I did a slightly, this is blue and Agrax, so Drakenhoof and Agrax Earthshade. So it's slightly bluer, but that's because she's going to have a rather blue palette. Have I ever done leatherworking? No, I haven't. If you're wanting to ask anybody about leatherworking, you should ask Dayray. I'm really happy with how the tentacles, like the tentacle wraps, turned out with the staff. And you don't really see my finger lines on them, so that also equally helps. So we'll just turn this over and get that up into the staff here. Like, this even helps just like point out details that you might not have noticed even on like the resin model. Like, it just really helps show you every single stitch of detail. So these are the wings that I was doing my practice for. And we'll figure out really where to go from there, but this is the start of my trek to Adepticon. I now was given a slow fuse bag, so I'll be able to bring her with me, nice and contained in a carry case. So I'm very much looking forward to that, and the paints that I'll be bringing are probably going to be the ones that are mainly in her palette, along with some like just some basic regular ones, just so that if I'm going to be painting with anyone during the day or in the evening, since I'm going to be rooming with a bunch of other painters, at least I'll be able to have a good spectrum there. But if I have to touch up anything on her, like she accidentally gets like some of the paint gets rubbed off, I want to be able to fix her. So I'm going to definitely be keeping a good note on the color palette that gets used and keeping notes on that wise so that I know which ones I need to bring. And so this is going to be an interesting one, this base, because I kind of do want it to be like a fleshy color. And sadly, I did have to connect up these pieces more than I wanted to, but that's just because this base area here just was going to be such a pain. I spent so long working on it just to get it to fit on the base that I didn't really see myself being able to remove it. So we're just going to take extraordinary advantage of our bent brushes to really take advantage of these cases. But the primer definitely showed that that I was able to hide a bunch of the connecting areas on this, so I'm really happy with that. The only thing that's pretty... Time to take on those wings. Yeah, Cherry. I'm not terrified at all. But first we go through the vast amount of wash needed for adaptive zenithal. I know, but I really love your Godzilla. I saw a few pictures of it on Instagram. You should be really happy with that. I love his, like, the super fire beam of ice energy. So you should be happy with that. Okay, I might need to buy more Drakenhoof at some point. So I'm just going to add in some water. There we go. So this also will help even out the transition of the primer. So it's not only just being used to show the details again, but it really helps if you notice that the primer was a little bit grainy, which I have to figure out still how to stop having that happen, you know. This method also helps really smooth that out. Not a lot, but it smooths out a little bit. I don't think I saw the base. I just saw him. And he was looking awesome. So the first thing to really be worked on his base is going to be this mouth area right in here, since that's going to be the most challenging location to reach. That I don't want to be picking at it while the rest of it is painted, so that I don't wear down any of the paint while working. And this weekend I'm hoping to reformat my computer, so hopefully I don't have to think about it crashing again for afterwards, because the crashing bit kind of... Oh! Yeah, this is what I call adaptive zenithal, Chewy. It's basically you zen prime the model, but your eyes lose track of details from the white. So what this is basically being done here, and what I'm going to be doing after it dries out, is you go over it in a wash. Generally I've used Agrax, but this time, because this is going to be on a bluer palette, I kind of wanted it to just be done in Urakenhoof, but I also mixed in a bit of Agrax into it just to make it not nearly as dark or as blue. And then you go over it again with a bit of dry brushing to really help pick out those details, like the highlights, but you have all this shadow induced that you can now see thanks to the wash. I've done this with every model I had, because I noticed that I was losing track of all the details from just from Zen priming, and I didn't like that. So it also gives you an idea of like how everything, it gives you another once over of the model to see like, oh, okay, this is where this is and this is how this is. Oh yeah. I just find that this just helps me see shadows. It also just helps right from the get-go of when you're painting to say like, oh yes, this is a shadow area and this is not a shadow area. And sometimes it helps you even see details that you didn't even know were there. So 2 points of reference of now knowing what needs to be touched on first, and one of them is being the area that's like right in there for this base. So we'll put that off to the side and let that dry. And bring back Arcana. We already did her front bit in that, but we did not. Oh yes, yes it does. It does a few things. It helps even out some of the primer transitions, really pinpoints the shadows and the details. So I kind of want to do her skin almost like a water ripple or water reflections in a pool. Okay, so that's that. So we'll just put her off to the side again. And so these are the wings. I've already done the top bits. And so we'll just need to do the bottom bits, which means mix more, a little bit more up. Three of that. I just want her to be majestic AF. Like that's my goal for her. There we go. Mix that up and then yay, eye hands. What's Corey saying? And so yeah, so this is especially like this is mainly used for like the white areas pretty much, but I just find it helps like really instate where the details are and the feathers especially. And then once when this dries out, we'll be using a white dry brush. So I might actually draw the eyes and the hands actually like eyes. Actually get to that point because her face has no eyes. So kind of am thinking of using them as her eyes. That. Well, whatever inspires you to get good, right? I love the idea of doing something to the best that I could possibly make it. So taking some of this leftover wash to really help accentuate some of these shadows right from the get-go. I want her skin to be a slightly darker tone. So we'll just instantly just wash it down again to really help bring that out. Alright. Her face needs to be just slightly darker. Not that much darker. He must do squats all day. Yeah, no, she is ripped. Yeah, no, I definitely feel like I have increased in skill. You know, over time. And now I need to let this pretty much dry. All needs drying. And I don't really feel like turning on my air compressor. So we'll just push this off to the side a little to let those fully dry. And I'm bringing out one of my ADD miniatures from yesterday. I'll just add a highlight onto these scales. This is a cobra. But I was playing with this yesterday. Like, did a really, really rough paint job on it. So today is just kind of like touching it up a little bit. Really to help accentuate some of the line work on it. I pretty much just did like a rough transition over it. But it actually ended up turning out pretty nice once when I also added in the wash to really darken down the creases. Some very, very pointed highlights. One thing I learned about working with Muldracar is I actually ended up having a friend send me a whole bunch of snake photos because she really, really, really loves snakes. And so I was like, well, she would give me the best reference images for what I am looking for. And I asked her to send me like basically like some dual tone scaled snakes. And it was very fascinating in that actually it helped me with Muldracar, but it also just kind of helped me pinpoint. Oh, sweet. Yeah, it's a great snake model. It is. I fell in love with it, and I've had it for quite a while. But I fell in love with it, and I really felt like painting it yesterday, along with like 11 other minis. But it helped me realize, like, the patterns of snakes don't necessarily follow their scales. So sometimes their scales will move in this one direction, but the pattern will kind of like cut through some of their scales. Let's see here. Where did I put him? There he is. I mean, this guy? He's a hefty model. Yeah, no, he's a big dude. But he's beautiful. He's a very, very beautiful model. Though he's a bit expensive, but that's because he is full metal. He's all metal. Elton John. I love it. But I've essentially decided that these bunch of miniatures here are going to be my in-between work on Arcana. Just, you know, while I'm letting things dry and... I might actually bring out my Windsors for this one. Makes a great combo. That is an awesome combo. What class are you? Oh, yeah, I end up actually having like 3 dire wolves. One of them has a didn't arrive with a paw. Like one of the legs didn't arrive with it, so I made it a 3-legged dog and they sent me a replacement. But I just kind of like green stuffed over it and made it look semi decent. Druid of the Moon, nice. Oh yeah, the Fenrisian. That's a good idea. I should finish painting up the rest of the ones that I got for Mononorki and paint them up for the use of D&D. Yeah, not white wolves, just wolves. Brown, gray. Yeah, I really want to do a druid at some point, and I'm trying to figure out which circle I want to do. Okay, that wasn't not light enough. There we go. Just tip the scales with this. To give them just a little bit of variant. And then we'll check over on Arcana to see if she is at all ready to be dry brush, though. From what I'm seeing is it's a no as of right now. Like I wanna do a more yeah. I want to play in my next when I make a new character. I really want to play a more serious character and try that out. I kind of like the idea of like the many shapeshifts, but at first being kind of like unable to really control what I turn into, just because of being like frustrated. Shepherd sounds fun, and also I forget what the other one is. One of the other new ones. So it's like there's Shepherd and another one that's very much more connected to the Feywild. Yeah, roll a dice on shapeshift. No, not Spore. So like originally I wanted to play like I wanted to play a gnome druid. But gnomes are very hyperactive. So that kind of defeats my desire to play a more serious character. Kaz, my rogue, was meant to be a bit more serious, but then I started listening to Dragonlance and I fell in love with Tass, and thus Kaz became more like Tass. So, the bye-bye serious character. It's one of the ones in Xanathar's. If that helps any. I think it's like of the dream or something like that. The snake is looking snaky. And we'll just go touch on these a little bit more. I really forget if snakes have, well, they do. I know they have colored eyes. I just don't know how distinctly different their colored eyes are. I guess I'll need to look up their Your eyes. Kind of like giving them creepy white eyes, though. Like, meh, I'm a snake. Snake, snake. Snake. Snake, 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 snake. Ooh, is my tea cool now? Yes, it's a lot cooler. Well, not cold, just cooler. Look at the mug. Hello, kitty, kitty. And then like, oh yes, kitty, kitty mug. Okay. So the wings are still drying. She's still drying. Yeah, washes are still they're still not fully dry yet on parts. So we'll try to just kind of like spread out some of the washes. Oh, this one apparently lost its a little bit on the tip there. Yeah, working on the lady. But yeah, we started yesterday while being very, very ADD. We started on a werewolf and a were crocodile. And basically the same pose. We started working on like 9 little gremlins and an iron golem and our sneak. I basically went through my big bag of... they're all from Reaper. These are all Reaper bones. I went through all my box of Reaper miniatures. And decided, like, which one should I work on? Just because in February I'll be getting Bones 4, the Kickstarter. And they're still saying that they're on track for all of that. This is plastic. Definitely plastic. Which kind of sucks. I wish it wasn't. I wish this one was metal, but... But when I originally ordered him, he arrived without any detail on his face. And so they sent me another one, so now I have a snake body. A Yonti, yeah. I'll be basically doing that with it. I'm seriously gonna have to turn off all notifications on my phone to stop them from popping up as a banner on the front, just because it keeps my phone like it keeps lighting up and turning on, and it's just like, no wonder the battery on yours is dying. Ooh, I have two little flesh golem guys too. They're pretty adorable. I have to get those guys that I'll need to be painting up. Okay, and under here is these spikes. Should probably invest in like a small hair dryer or something, so I can just dry out some of the washes. But I've noticed with like some models, especially with like Vallejo, like I've set my miniatures on top of my computer before to dry them out due to just like the fans on my computer, and the paint's cracked on those. So I'm not a big fan of wanting to use heat to speed it up. We're using this dark brown to kind of help shadow in the crevices. And I'll probably use a sepia wash over these spines just to give them a different tone. But some of these guys I don't actually view like, they don't need to be works of art in their own. Some of them I just like, I'm perfectly fine with them just to being just interesting, at least to look at, especially for my own, this is just for my own games. So I guess tabletop quality. Sneak, sneak, because to me it looks like a snake. Rawr. Except snakes don't make the rawr noise. What does snakes make? Hiss. Boring. Okay, lady. I still see a bit of your wings are still not dry yet. of course, now I get to see, like, some of the mold lines that I missed, which is, you know, great. Kind of makes me want to just scrape those down. Let's see here. Yeah. That's another reason for doing this. Just very lightly carving this part down. I just didn't think I'd be able to hide that, especially not something that's so stark, like right there. Okay, so I got fixed there. And that just looks like flashing, so that it doesn't need to be primed over or anything. That's excellent. Okay, I think she's good to go. Just essentially going to try to pick up what's left. All right. Dry brush. I think I need to buy another flat brush just because my technical dry brushes are kind of a mess. They're kind of like all over the place. Ooh, hydration bot. Thank you so much for reminding me. What did I use to get this color scheme? I'm gonna have to look up at the video I did for when I started working on the Lord of Metamorphosis. I really like this pinky, fleshy tone. I know I had an orange in there, so. What? This had red in it? But I washed this multiple times, yet apparently it's bleeding red. Great. Okay. Alright. Can't use you. That's the only flat brush I had left. Looks like it. I don't really want to use I don't want to use that brush. That's a bit stiff. Guess I could use this one. And then, like, we go over it, and this really just helps even more so accentuate the lines of it. Let me just smudge that into the brush. And just very lightly, it brings up the details on her. You pretty much always want to go in the same direction when you're doing this. You don't want to go up and down, you just want to go the one direction, because what you're essentially doing is just retouching up on the tips of everything. Athena! Okay. So that's her body. Yes, Hellspawn, it is. This is the Lady of Arcana. She is to be my Resin Beast competition submission. Hopefully. Hopefully I can get her to be the type of quality that I would like. Right now it's just basically the start of prepping her. I did zenithal priming, and now I'm just doing doing the adaptive part to it, which is cover it over top to bottom in a darker wash. Usually Agrax, but you can use anything else that's thematically appropriate for the color-wise. And so you cover it all over, cover over all the Zen to basically retouch up the dark parts so you can see the details a whole lot easier. And then you go over a bit with dry brush. Or sort of dry brushing. Apparently I do dry brushing wrong, but that's okay. And then you just basically touch up over top of where the highlights, the point highlights are. And I'm not even using a pure white. I'm using an off-white for this because white can be very, very stark. So I'm using an ivory, which is a slightly warmer white. Look at that detail. Just so pretty. This side got a little bit washed out, but that's okay. Because this side, we're going to do something very similar to this wing. Just not that extreme of color. I was experimenting there. In this underside, we're going to do a kind of like a cosmos look to it. Maybe even this side would look better with that kind of painting and this side being the cosmos. I don't know. I'm still mentally figuring it out. Athena! There we go. Needed a bit more fresher paint to really help bring out some of the detail that's on this side. Athena! Yep, those are the wings. And now for the base. These I probably should paint glowy eye things onto. Sadly, this all had to be pretty much attached because this base bit did not want to connect. So this is going to be so fun to get the paint in there, but we'll get it. It's all about figuring out where the process of order to start working on her. Just go into here. Like 2 areas are going to be definitely the first bits to be done on this base, and that's going to basically be like this underneath section here and the mouth, and that's right in there just because of how difficult it is going to be to get into it. I wanted these to be separate, but I had to do so much work along this base. Oh, that's okay. Okay. Yeah. So I'll have to throw that over there too. Okay. Open up file location. Oh, did I not save any water ripples? No. No, I did not. Okay. There you are. My water rippling texture. I just want to see the video. I just want to see the image. That's all I want to see. No, why are you a video? I don't care about it being a video. I don't want it to be a video. I just want a solid, just the picture. Okay. Right. Do I want this blue or no? Let's bring out the catabatic blue. I'm right there. Is that mostly? Yeah, that's mostly gel. But yeah, let's see here. What did I do yesterday? Played a lot of Destiny yesterday, other than outside of painting miniatures. It has a bit more paint in it. I finished my Varix the Loyal storybook in Destiny. Only to discover like I won't be able to get my chronicler title basically for a year. Which is saddening, but oh well. So, the color scheme that I'm working with her has a lot to actually how I was planning on doing the Queen of Ecstasy, who I still plan on doing that way. Which is painting her very much like Genova from Final Fantasy VII. In terms of like just some of the, moreover, like a lot of the fan art or official art from it, where her skin has kind of like this wave effect on it. And I find that is very on point with this model as well, just because she is attached to this other creature thing that she's coming out of. So, like, you think that she is a humanoid, but really she's something else. And that's kind of what I really like about this model. So what I just want to make sure is to have everything that I want as a base tone. And basically, we're going to create little ripples in her skin. As if it's fluid like water. So the camera is making it look already a lot more blue than this is. She is more of a seafoam, dark seafoam. It's been a long time since I've started from a blank canvas on a creature caster, since Phil came to me partially painted already that I just covered over. So he was essentially a blank canvas, since none of what he ended up with was what he started with on my side, but it was still like not exactly Not exactly the same. I guess I should be using the softer one. So her hand, her very, very delicate hand. This probably won't stay as a blue. Just kind of wanted to add that in. Ah, Day! Hi, how's it going? We finally started on Minerva. You spend all day stitching? You are such an old grandmother. I love it. I was going to say, are you almost done? But yeah, no. Nice. Oh, wow. You are actually almost done. There we go. A slightly blue tone onto that. Oh, wow. How big is this model? Or not model. How big is this stitching? There's a thing called food. Oh, really? Is there? this is actually, she's kind of a bit of fun and mainly actually for a competition in March. At Adepticon, Creature Caster is hosting a competition called Resin Beast. I think it's just exclamation mark beast here. And yeah, it's one of their models that needs to be painted. And so that's what I'm... Oh, nope. That's not the one. Is it just... Is it actually called Resin Beast? I forget which one Ash... I forget which one Ash made for this. But yeah, I couldn't figure out what model to use for this. So I put it up for a poll actually. And that's why there's that Arcana one, but I didn't realize it was still up. So I'll need to make sure to take that one down. Okay, African Shadow is already out. I'm just going to shake this one up for days. Essentially, as we let her body dry. Because if I keep working on it a bit too much, then she's just going to end up being stripped, and that's never a good day. So this reminds me a lot of the Overmind in StarCraft. So that's why I'm going to be painting it this pinky color. This pinky mass. And yeah, just getting a lot of this color tone. That way I can be like yay or nay to the colors as it is right now before I get too involved in it. That way I can spend the weekend not painting and instead like looking at her every so often. and figuring out if I like it. Voodoo! Hey, how are you? How are you doing, my friend? How was your Christmas? Did Santa get you all the miniatures that you ever wanted? Oh, thank you so much for that, host. You're awesome. I love you. So I'm gonna have to find the video on how I did the tentacles on Lord of Metamorphosis, because I want these fleshier tentacle here to be along those colors, and I know I did like kind of like I ended up having like a peachy tone in here. So as I don't have any momentum paints, I'll be using the paints that I am most familiar with, which is Scale 75. Full, for the first time, I'm doing full Scale 75, no Vallejo undertones. That way I can see through a whole lot more for a whole lot longer my zenithal priming. Within reason. Well, that's true. So my own constructed part to the base here isn't 100% obvious, so I definitely approve of that. I did not get anything hobby miniature related for Christmas. Like I didn't receive any miniature that I so desperately wanted. Hey cat, how are you? You should put it up in Discord. I agree. And I forget what I was saying. Alright, what I wanted for Christmas, things like that. I did end up getting, though, one of the slow fuse carry cases. So I am very, very happy to still have gotten one of those so that I can transport my paints with me. Hey, honey. Oh, you got cross stitch. What did you get? What cross stitch? And then bring in the new year. Woo! So I definitely want to use that peachy tone. If I can figure out how I created it. Have that along this one, whereas I want the base to be a little bit darker. What color? Let's see here. I want to figure out how I made these tones here. So that's, I just have to go back and hope that I save that VOD. Oh, for the go bag, it was black. I wanted the green one, but there was so few left over that I'm perfectly content with getting a black one. Yeah, I'm just so happy to have a go bag now that it's just like, yes, has a good like foam area for putting the miniatures in, and another area for putting all my paints. So for Adepticon, I'll be carting around all the paints that I use to paint her up, just in case I have to do any kind of last minute touch-ups upon arrival. Reportedly dark purple. Ooh. Yeah. The color doesn't matter necessarily to me, because I'll be covering it over with like random stuff anyways. That a neutral black is good for me. But I already have like a Pepe badge on it and a Suchikuchi pin. But yeah, no, it just, I'm very, very happy that I've seen that and have it now in my possession. I sent it as a random like thing to my husband, being like, I would really love one of these. But I thought he kind of like ignored that, because he sometimes does. He's like, yeah, whatever, hobby stuff. I'm like, but I want it. Pepe! Yeah, I have a little Pepe badge. And I also was given, I was meant to only be one Diva pillow, but they sent 2 our way. So I now have one for down here and for upstairs. It's actually what you see right behind me. It's nice for my back, actually. Yeah, I was showing it to my husband afterwards, like after he gave it to me. I was like, see, there's space for my like my brushes, and if I wanted to, my airbrush, and like all my paints and then my miniatures, and it's just like, and then it has like this pouch and like that pouch. Okay. That's that purpley color there. And so she's essentially rising out of this overmind tentacle mass. Which is why I wanted her coloring to be kind of like of a similar standpoint, but distinct enough that it's just like, no, she is something else. Yeah, so it'll be like a transition like that from this purpley, fleshy mass to this like water ripply skin. We're not going to be doing too many ripples. And I'm kind of thinking of doing like blackish armor. And the horns pretty much having a similar, like, we start off as like the similar, like darker red, but mainly just at the base. A lot of my painting of Creature Caster comes from just like starting with a color and then seeing where it really takes me. Trying to force a color scheme never really goes well in my books. But I like the idea of the horns being this color because it really will help draw the purple up. Because you'll have her hanging out like right in here. So that having that purple up there will help like bring up this color into her. I'll just help unify that a whole lot more. Sorry, my hand is cramping up. Which is crazy because I've only been live for like nearly 2 hours, but the grog walking and things like that for the past week and a half has really done a number on my hands. And it cramps up super much, so. So I'm just trying to stretch out my hand. It's always a good idea to do that. Oh no, not a mistake. Did you post it up, Day? Up in my Discord? That was a really, really pretty day. Just trying to really smooth down the blue that I have here. So it look pretty streaky. Grog walking, yeah. So I'm taking care of Grog for his owner comes back on Sunday. Grog is a dog, a 110-pound Newfoundland puppy, and over the last week and a bit, I've been noticing that my hand has been like really beginning to hurt, and I discovered that like I actually couldn't stream on Boxing Day because like the pain, there was a severe pain coming up this side of my hand. And so I started using this hand to walk in, but now like the entire bone structure is pretty much cramping up right now. Because he, like I said, he's 110 pounds and he's a puppy. So he's very excitable and he very much wants to meet everybody, even though not everybody wants to meet him. And when they pass him, he will sit there nicely and politely, but then he will like lunge at them. Which is not good because, you know, I would have to hold him back, which then hurt my hand consistently. So I was thinking about this, and I was wondering what you guys might think. So as I was talking about her and her wings, originally I was talking about doing a very similar design to like this on the outside of her wings, but I'm wondering like, and an astral pattern on the inside, kind of like that's where she's centering her magic. It gets drawn down there and gets like through her and turns into magic. Should I vice versa that and put this one in as like this kind of wing, like on this side, or should I keep it and put the astral side on this one, or like trying to figure out what a good system for that would be. Because one of them I'm going to be attempting airbrushing the astral, well, at least the beginning of the astral pattern. I have a black canvas painted up. Well, it's not painted. It's just black primed right now to figure it out with an airbrush to do that astral pattern. I'm just letting this the pinky color dry a bit more. I doubt I wrote it down in my book for Metamorphosis. Oh, Gamer Dad! Thank you! Happy belated Christmas to you too! How are you doing, my friend? What a metamorphosis. Aha! I did write it down. Oh my god. Fuchsia and pink oh, tentacles. And wings. Why did I say wing being Azure and Innsmouth? Oh, because that's his wings. Okay. Okay, so tentacles were done with Aldan and Dandel Lilac. Okay, I don't actually know which one that one is in. Finally setting up the new desk. Yay, new desk! Okay, this looks like these would be under the scale color fantasy and games line. The green, the blue line. So violet, Innsmouth, which is one of my favorite blues to use. Knocking over everything. Innsmouth is in a different one. Okay. Pink Flesh and Indian Shadow. Okay, I was using African Shadow, so I need to pick up Indian Shadow. Brush over Indian Shadow. Okay. Pink Flesh. That one would be under... that's Resurrection. Harvester. So, okay, so Pink Flesh is also going to be on the scale color line. So we're just going to skip over to here and pick up Pink Flesh. Light skin. Pale skin. Basic. Pink Flesh. And Indian Shadow. Innsmouth. INNS mouth. Innsmouth. And then I want a fuchsia, which is, I believe, also in the scale line. So yeah, that is a fuchsia in Pink Flesh. Washed down with Reckland and Crimson and Druchii mix. Okay. So I did write it down. I am a smart person. I'm very, very happy about that. Did you have a good Christmas, Gamer Dad? Oh yeah, no, there's a ton of references in here too, in these paints for Lovecraft. Now, Fantasy and Games line has definitely a lot of references. I'm glad, Gamer Dad. Okay, and smoke. Oh, yeah, he did spoil me. Though this year we both decided to be a little less crazy with Christmas. But he did buy me a weighted blanket, which is awesome. It is the best thing in the world. I really, really, really love it. He got me a go bag from Slow Fuse. And the other big thing being the Elite Pro controller it's an Xbox controller, but with a hookup thing for the PlayStation. A weighted blanket. Not blankie, blanket. It's a 15-pound blanket. Single size. And it basically it feels like a ton of blankets on top of you without you actually having to have that many blankets. And it helps induce sleep, relaxation. It encourages deep sleep. And I've been wanting one forever, just because they look comfortable and amazing, and I've been using it every day since Christmas, and it's just been the best sleeps ever. And totally, absolutely, 100% worth it. Yep. Yeah, that's essentially it. This is a thunder shirt for humans. Yeah, no, they're definitely used for other things, but I've been seeing them in and around like different ads and whatnot, and I'm like, that just sounds like something that would be really great because it also helps like with anxiety and various things like that, and which is all things that I have to deal with. So I've been wanting a weighted blanket for a while. But so my husband got me the holiday special one, which also came with a year-long subscription to the Calm app, which just has a lot of like meditation guidedness, and that is also really relaxing just because like, yeah, a sense of like having an understanding of awareness and being mindful and things like that. Like that, I'm good at that. I'm very good at getting into that zone, but sometimes it's just nice to have that extra little guide. And so I've been like using that. But yeah, my sleeps have just been so nice since getting that in. Because I actually grew soiled rotten. And yeah, I got a slow fuse go bag. So I can bring paints and stuff with me to Adepticon. Yeah, all in all, very good Christmas. He also got me new PJs, which is awesome because I love PJs. And a May, like one that's based off of May, like her little polar bear PJs, which is really, really, really cute. So, back on the furniture, yeah, I could believe that. I cleaned my studio yesterday, so like, because the studio's been where I've been putting all the Christmas presents and things like that. So just hiding them out in there, so now I can just like relax it all a little bit and clean it up. Though we still have the dog here for another 2-ish days. And then we can do the full clean because right now just like he just gathers so much dirt. So it's impossible to keep our floors like 100% clean right now. That reminds me, I do need to chat with you a bit, Gamer Dad, about true stuff, just because I'm a little bit behind on things, and I want to make sure that I'm doing everything correctly. So I'll be hitting you up. But this is definitely going to be a model that I'm going to take I would like to think that I would take a very long time at. We'll see how long I actually spend on it. But I definitely plan on going full out on her. And I got her wings magnetized, so that's pretty cool. I've never done magnetizing before, so that was definitely a new experience. So we want to make sure that each of the dark areas have this purpley tone in it. So her horns are not going to be the exact same color as the tentacles, obviously. But they're going to be of a similar color palette to help kind of just draw your eye up a little bit more. So I listened to Stephen Fry last night talking about Provence and the lavender fields. And man, did I fall asleep. Like, yeah, no, that's not a bad thing, because this was under like the sleep section, and so you just listen to these people who have very calming, relaxing voices. And funny enough, like, they do have a bunch of Bob Ross things there, but because he's talking about painting and like how he, and like it's basically like a painting episode but only in audio, that was bothering me more because I couldn't see what he was talking about. So I discovered Bob Ross is not a good thing for me to listen to fall asleep. But I love Stephen Fry. Like, he has such a great voice. He even did the voicing in a bunch of the Little Big Planets. Back when Little Big Planet was still good and not a disappointment to my face. It was annoying. I was just like, he's talking about like, yeah, we're gonna make a happy little cloud right here. And then he was doing that. I'm like, but I can't see what you're doing. Arr! And like, I had like it on for like a minute before I was like, no, this is like, my brain is trying to actively think about what he's saying, that I can't listen to it. Kind of like how Flick can't, when he's just wanting to relax, he can't, or and doing some work, he can't really watch another mini painter because he wants to engage in that. It's just like, yeah, no, that's essentially what this was. It was like, I can't figure out what he's talking about. I can't see it. So for me, he was not relaxing. I have to see if there's any more Stephen Fry ones, or, you know, other British people, since I find the British accent to be relaxing. Okay, so we'll just get this purpley color mixed in here. Excellent. But I feel like that would be, anybody artistic would be, like, find that a challenge, just because it's constantly like, oh yeah, we're gonna take some paint of this paint and we're gonna apply it here, just like that. It's just like, well, what's just like that? It's not a very good audio only book. Like, that's whereas something talking about, like, you know, the fields of lavender in Provence, France. That was a little bit more of my mental speed for sleeping. It's like, yeah, tell me more about how they made essential oils. Yeah, no, and and asleep. So we're having this little purplish, like, legs coming up there. So we got that pretty much toned. Not see what you're doing. Yeah, I can't not listen to it. No, we're starting this one from the beginning. And I challenge any of you otherwise. It's just like, yeah, try listening to something artistic while you're trying to fall asleep. It's just, now your brain just tries to engage it a bit too much. Unless you're like, yes, visually in my mental scape. Oh yes, look, happy little clouds. This is like, that doesn't, no. And I don't think my mom was that big of a fan of Bob Ross. Just like, I think she wasn't, I think it's called like the Mighty Seven or the Great Seven or something like that. Like, they're a bunch of the Canadian painters that Emily Carr got rejected from. They did a lot of scenery painting and whatnot, and I just remember my mom was never a big fan of their work. So we're now doing a wash over all of this we had just previously done with this purpley color. This purple mix to really help bring up that color. But that's also like why I have a hard time with like listening. My husband likes to put on Critical Role before we fall asleep. And I find that sometimes to be a bit too distracting or too engaging. Oh, that's a bit too vibrant there. Now let's bring in some more Innsmouth to really, yeah, that's a better color. Da 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 da. And we'll just squidgy this all down here. So the mouths, I feel like, are going to be a little bit more... Obviously, I'm going to be putting a whole lot more work into this base. It's just, a lot of it is... I did that base tone, and then I found the color makeup that I had for... It's not that interesting thus far, though. But she has always been one of my favorite. Lord, Lord of Malice, Lord of Metamorphosis, and Lady of Arcana are my 3 absolute favorites of Creature Caster. And so... It's like a chocolate bar? What? Eat one without wanting one yourself, yeah. She's a beautiful model. We're just going to get this star of this purple color. On the base here. But because I want the transition, I want this to kind of also transition into a much lighter color. Okay. Not that. Yeah, no. She. I've heard that being said a lot, that she would fit in with that. Okay, so we're actually gonna just put this purple on the underside. Doot 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 doot. Hi, Toronto. How are you? How was your stream? Hello, everyone coming in from Toronto's stream. I hope you guys are all having a fantastic Friday. And also, I hope you guys all had a wonderful, wonderful Christmas holiday, if you guys are so inclined onto Christmas. If not, I hope you guys had a wonderful week. It was fun. Yay! What were you doing today? Ooh, Thief Sim. Stealing and dismantling loots. Yay, loots! Okay, so we're just gonna put that off to the side and let that dry. I guess this is also considered to be her skin. So let us just mark this in here. So I decided that these hand eyes are actually going to be painted like eyes, like full on eyes, because she actually doesn't, the head choice that I made for her has no eyes. So kind of makes that there. Yes. Yes, it is creepy. I'm aware. But you haven't watched Pan's Labyrinth, so you have no right to complain. Whereas I have, and so hooray for mental trauma dreams. Yay! Unless you have watched Pan's Labyrinth recently. Because this guy is still a nightmare. Shit. A wonderful movie to read. Yes, I know, right? It's been slow. I'm sorry, Day. I didn't turn it off. Yes, you were supposed to be streaming with me. How dare you leave me alone? It's a good movie. It's just that part was a little bit creepy. And thus I find hand eyes to be a little bit off-putting. I missed the memo about streaming. Well, now you know, so... I know! It's never too late to coffee! I swear she's probably used the Booty Blaster 9000 or something, because look at that boob. That boob. Booty. That's what I meant to say. And thank you, Ghosted Wolf, and on to you as well. I hope your season of merriment was fantastic. And that your New Year's is going to be wonderful. I know, that ass. You could, you know, flip a coin off of it. You got an airbrush! Congrats! Something important. My husband told me I shouldn't have bought him. I got him a book on total party killing adventures or like dungeons, basically to teach your players like how to run away or how to create your own kind of like frustrating fights and things like that. Total party kill handbook, I think it's called. And if I recall correctly. And I funded the part 2 on Kickstarter. So when that comes out, that is also a secondary gift to my husband. But I gave him the first one since it is 5th edition compliant. in turn 8, yeah. Every party now dies. Yeah, how to understand that they can lose. Yeah, no, that's what happened with mine. It's like, you guys need to learn that running away is a viable option. Just because you get into a combat does not mean that you are meant to succeed. And thus, my party has, of the ones that I'm running, they've nearly died quite often because they decide not to be smart about it. And I actually, like, ended up full-on one-shotting a character. Taught them really early on, you guys are mortal. Rolls of it, you die. Yeah, like, oh, you happen to take an like an arrow to the eye. Well, let's see how far in it goes. Well, you're now blinded in one eye. And roll for death, I guess. So I'm being rather sloppy with my color application at the moment. Just to kind of give a little bit of a rising highlight to the purple tentacles that are on her. Lead him again. Oh, wow. That's awesome. Oh, but I worked a bit more on my sneak. Looking pretty sneaky. Oh, snake. Ah, snake, snake, snake. Yeah, well, like, that's why I don't like having a combat in necessarily in every game, because I'm like, well, you know, like, kind of feel like you need to have a chance to heal, and like overnight you guys heal like 100%. That it's a little bit unrealistic, but that's okay. So I watched the movie Leap for the first time yesterday. I remember I wanted to see it at one point, like when it first came out, but then I kind of forgot about it. And then, like, on this music playlist, I found there was one of the songs from that movie, and I was like, oh, I wonder if it's on Netflix. So I watched it. It was good. I enjoyed it. We're just gonna add in some of this darker color in here just to help that transition on the tentacles. Is this a drinking stream? No, it just... I need a lot of reminders to drink. And because the hydration bot is inconsistent, I added my own little one in there. It's exclamation mark drink. It should be water probably, but most of the time it's like I either have tea or water, so it's just like, or coffee. So it was just like, it kind of just became like, just drink your damn drink. I'm like, okay.
I like you.
I like you too, Magic Spacebar. Thank you so much for that follow. You're awesome. I love you. Thank you for joining us here. I think it was Day who made the drink your damn drink thing. It was either that or Bad Rap. I forget. And so it was originally just a command to kind of like, if somebody else saw the hydration bot and I didn't notice it, then they would use that one, and I just turned it into a timer. Since I'm like, yeah, no, I started going back into the finished a 4 or 5 hour stream and I hadn't drunk anything. Yeah, it might have been Darth. So what I'm really doing here is building up the transition. The color that I'm actually going to be, it's going to end up is going to be a lot closer to this. And that is done by washes. So I have a wash set that I build up. Because a lot of my paints aren't that vibrant. So I use washes to help create that vibrancy. Sold! Yeah. I still feel a little bit awkward about having to remove Darth. I still feel a little awkward when I see him in somebody else's stream. It's just like, yeah, why did you have to get weird with me? There should be a slight color difference, I think, between the tentacles and her, like the skin that's grabbing up at her. So I'm thinking I'm going to make this one slightly, like, more along the red lines. Just to give that a little bit more of a contrast. I wonder if I should just pinken some Innsmouth into here just to help blend that transition, since it seems like Innsmouth is pretty much the color of her skin in the shadows area anyways. So probably the skin area will be washed down with full-on Druchii. Probably with a little bit. You forgot how staff music works? And I'll take this Innsmouth. I'll just... Another good reason why using Innsmouth into the colors of the tentacles kind of just helps draw the colors in. I think Chaos is excited. They can have ample booty. What are you, bootyist? Are you against the booty? Maybe underneath all that haggardness, they have that fine ass. Mad spoilers. Aw. Oh, that's okay. You can make another character with booty. Take use of that booty slider. Between my coffee whiskey. Nice. Yeah, so she's gonna be... I have to get rid of some of that sticky tack that's in there, but yeah, the staff hangs out here. Make sure that if I do anything with the skin to remember to do that with the hand. I just didn't want to constantly be bumping into the hand, the staff while I worked on this. This is very much Horizon Zero Dawn music, I feel. Such a great game. Absolutely fantastic. 100% recommend if you have never played Horizon. To pick that game up and play it. Probably one of my most favorite games I've played. The story is just on point. That like some of these tentacles aren't going to get that much lighter just because of where they are. And the one that I really need to finish still is Near Automata. And once when I finish those games off and actually start thinking about other games, but at this moment I refuse to buy any other games until I'm like, no, these ones are critically acclaimed. Like, that doesn't mean anything really, but I already own these ones and I want to play them, so let's not distract myself with other games. Especially since I do like playing them. I really loved playing Nier when I was playing through it, so just gotta go back and finish it up. So before I do too much more on these tentacles, I should add a little bit more of a lightness value to these ones here. There we go. I should probably work a little bit on the actual base. Oh, from what I'm seeing in here is that there's a lot of like what could be teeth. I'm kind of just thinking of not really necessarily thinking them as teeth, but just kind of like bone spines, bone spurs. But let's mark in all these tentacles in here. That's okay. Just dip it. Or give it a day to paint. She paints impossible things. Wait, what? I am an evil friend. Since now. Congrats on your promotion. Yeah, I need to figure out a way to make that not so transparent up there. Maybe find a different place to be able to post up banners. Maybe just don't get to use that one. Maha, please. Hi, Witchy. How's it going? Ah, thank you at Ed Cook for that raid. How are you doing? How was your stream, my friend? Want to redo a face on a miniature? Is stripped from the primer down to the metal. Oh no, ghosted wolf! You can always ask me, Chaos. I don't know how much I can help, but I can always give suggestions or remarks. Mad raids, yeah. I love my alerts. They make me so happy. And I hope they're not too disruptive to you guys. But they make me giggle. So... It's kinda good. It's pretty good here too. We're just starting the basic things for the Lady of Arcana for the Resin Beast competition at Adepticon this year. I don't think I'm ready yet for Crystal Brush. So we'll be submitting to the Resin Beast. His torso size, oh my god. Yeah, so like we were doing a little bit. Oh, Magic Spacebar! Thank you for the 5 bits. It's very unlikely because I know who I'm going up against. And even then, it's just like, and then there's going to be, of course, many more people submitting to it. Hello, Cranial Games. So we'll see. But I'm not going there to win. I'm going there to view this as a learning experience and also to paint a miniature specifically for a competition instead of just painting it and being like, oh yeah, no, it's pretty good. It's just like, no, let's actually really try this one. And sadly, I already made a mistake of like attaching these pieces, but because I had to do a lot of correctional work to get it all to fit in, that it needed to basically be attached. So this is going to be complicated. I'm just, yeah, I can have a pipe dream about winning one of the segments. One can dream. But to go there with the intention of like, I'm going to win is no. Because I'm going up against people like Key Lime and Shoshi and Rainer. Probably, like, I think Rainer's going to be joining it, and you know, and Next Level probably. So it's going to be bad. Orthover, hi, how are you? Oh, nice. Congrats, Witchy. How did it turn out? And we'll do a pass over. Oh, what's this? Shoot for the stars! Aw, Spacebar, thank you so much. Personally, I would like to get the It's Alive winner, because then you get a miniature every month for a year from Creature Caster. And so like that in itself is like, yes please, that'd be so nice. But let's see this with Jay. Oh, what is it? I'm not familiar with that shape, but it's cute looking. So with our color combination mixed in here of that and that, red, some of that, and this, I'll just mix this in and get a lighter tone. I'll mix it in a little bit more. playing. Okay, I'm not familiar necessarily with Nurglings, but it's really, really cute. Some pics of what I've been working on, and plus it's like there. Alright, good night, Ed Cook. Thank you so much for that raid. I hope you have a fantastic weekend. I wanted to do a judgment mini for Crystal Brush, but my judgment minis have not arrived nor sent to me, so I don't really know if there's anything. Like, I'm trying to think of like, okay, well, what else could I do, because I don't want to do the same miniature. I want to do one. If I'm going to do a Crystal Brush entry, I wanted to do one like actually focused on like, okay, this one is for Crystal Brush. Yeah, I thought it looked really good. That was me saying cool and good at the same time. I'll throw a bit of magenta into this. Or not magenta, fuchsia. There you go. And I'm gonna have to look up some pictures of the Overmind in StarCraft 1. Because that's kind of what this thing reminds me of. Ah, thanks! Theo, thank you! Hello, Raider. How are you doing? She's a cat. She will judge you for all I know. She's upstairs. They're still not 100% on coming downstairs because of dog. So, dog leaves Sunday. Mocha! Hello, everyone coming in from Mocha Minis. How are you all doing? How is your Fridays? Hello, Memnor. And Mocha, hi. And Jean Maxu, hi. And Cajun Mage, hello. I hope you guys are all doing fantastic. Wave, hi. How are you guys? How was your stream, Mocha? Happy New Year! Yes, and Captain Howdy. Hello. I'm doing well. I am currently working on the beginning of my Resin Beast submission. Just kind of working out just a little bit of coloring. So, waves! Hello! I don't know how to do them, so it's alright. The raid notifications. Hello, Grand Illusion. I have one for every 10 raiders equals a new alert. Up to like 120 or something like that. If I ever get a raid above that amount, then I'll think about increasing the amount of raid alerts. But up until then, oh, thank you. So, like, what I was working on a few weeks ago was figuring out how to paint the wings. Oh, Joe Maxu, thank you so much for that follow. You're awesome. I love you. So yeah, it's probably going to end up not exactly with these colors per se, but very similar in the design of these. Alright, Day, enjoy your movie. So like I was trying to figure out how to do wings. So I picked out some models just so that I could test and practice. And so these kind of wing colors are going to be on this side of the wings on Arcana. And on this side is going to be an astral pattern or vice versa. And kind of just recently thought about like, oh, maybe the astral pattern should be on the outside. But it should be fun either way. But right now it's basically like just marking in some of these coloring, because the color eventually is going to be like that. And I know that's very, very starkly different, but I know the blue and pink one seems to be like by far the best one that people think. So that is actually done by a wash basis that I have, because a lot of the colors I have, I don't paint vibrant very well. So I make up with that in my washes. My washes make things a bit more vibrant. And so I'm building up the kind of like the transition color, and also how the washes will kind of play with the colors that are already on here. Ah, Super McFlower, thank you so much for that follow. You're awesome, and I hope you're having a fantastic Friday. Thank you, thank you. But yeah, so I spent a week working on those feathers just to kind of practice before working on Arcana. Just to kind of get an idea of how I want to do that, and also like maybe like color wise. So that's like another reason why I'm not too concerned about the color being very similar between this Overmind base and the tentacles right now, is that these tentacles are going to go a bit more on the orangey pinky side.
I like you.
I like you too, Captain Howdy. Thank you so much for that follow. You're awesome. I love you. Yeah. What were you working on today? I don't know if you said, Mocha. Or if I forgot to ask, and that makes me a bad person, and I'm sorry. Yeah, so this is for a competition that's going to go on in March over in Chicago at Adepticon. And this is the Lady of Arcana by Creature Caster. If you're unfamiliar with it, I believe you can just do !whip, and that will take you to her page on their site. Or maybe it'll just take you to their site. I'm not actually too sure. And I actually had my my followers vote on which creature caster that I was going to work on for this, because I have a number of them, and I couldn't really just say I'm going to do this one and this is it. I was like, I'm more than willing to do a whole bunch of these, and I kind of want to do a whole bunch of these, and so I was just like, fine, chat, you guys are going to be you're going to choose. And Arcana won by a landslide. So she So I spent a few streams cleaning her up, and then like making sure that all the mold lines would fit together and fit onto the base. And that's actually why this extra, like, this bit here is attached on, because it took a lot of correctional work to get it attached properly, that I couldn't have it unattached and keep it separate. And this was Zen primed. So, and then was adapted. I call it adaptive zenithal, which is basically cover it all, after you do Zen priming, cover it all in a wash. Generally, it would be Agrax, or if you want one to be a little bit more thematically appropriate in terms of color, use that instead. So this one was actually done with a Drakenhoof and Agrax mixture. And then after that wash dries, and you basically want to cover the entire model with the wash, then you dry brush with a white or an off-white over top to re-bring up the highlights. But what you're doing with the wash is to basically take, even though these are like super bright highlights, you still get like the little detailed crevices so that your eyes can actually pick it up. Because that's one thing I noticed with full-on Zen priming, is that you lose a little bit of that detail. Just, you don't on the actual model, but your eyes lose track of it. Ah, Grand Illusion 3, thank you so much for that follow. I hope you're having a fantastic day. So she hangs out, actually, like, she hangs up right on here, which is going to be a fun thing to correct, but we'll get there. When we get around to it, it'll actually, like, it'll fit in. And that's another reason why it's a good idea to keep track of what your paints are that you use. And I actually have, for general transport, I have her wings magnetized. Yeah, it's challenging already just with these pieces together. That's why I'm kind of like focusing a little bit more on this base to begin with, just instead of working on her, because it's going to be a challenge. But it's also another reason, another prime example as to why having a bent brush is so freaking handy. One section at a time, yeah. Yeah, like Bob Ross, oh, Sagai. The thing is that I never really know what colors I'm going to use. Right from the get-go, I kind of just start picking up colors and be like, oh yeah, no, this one will work lovely. But usually when I bring out a new color, I will show it and mention it. But then once when it's on my palette, then all bets are off. But I've been tempted to like release my different color markups. Bob Ross. I actually did not do this I did not do the magnetizing of her wings on stream, just because I had never personally done magnetizing. And so I was just in the morning, I was like, okay, well, let's try this out. And it was a lot of trial and error. And I realized like the one magnet alone was not enough. So I actually have a smaller magnet up in the corner of each wing to help support the wing in its place, because originally it would droop down a little like that. It was just not strong enough, the one main magnet, so having that secondary one made this a whole lot more stable and a whole lot less likely to fall out. Yeah, I had no idea how to do magnetizing, so I kind of just did a lot of guesswork. Nope. So her skin is actually going to be, I'm going to do it like water ripples. I know that as. So when I get around to actually like fully working on her skin, she actually already has sort of like ripples already attached in. So like the rest of her skin is just going to be like a little bit of water rippling across. Yeah, it is a lot of resin for a magnet to hold, and so that I added. It was really just for this side of the wing. Like this one fit fine, but then I was like, well, no. If I'm gonna like slightly add a like little magnet on one, I'm gonna add a slight little magnet onto the other, and now it just attaches wonderfully. And I'm like, yep, I'm good. I'm good. I'm happy. But yeah, she does a lot of squats. Or, magic enhancements. No, real. No, it's 100% real, honest. Oh, yeah, no, he has a good ass. And she knows it. God, more cat hair. What'd she do? Oh, Bill. Oh, Bill. Yes, real poetic. Hey, it sounds good. Don't judge. Badonk donk. I'm gonna have to message them and say that, because that's hilarious. Lady of Badunkadunks. She's a beautiful model. Like, she is 100% worth it. She is one of my favorite models of theirs. Still, even with their new releases and everything, she's still one of my most favorites. Hey, Ghost Vortex! How's it going? How are you doing, my friend? But she's a beauty, yeah, Beauty and Beast all mixed in. So Cajun, the colors I am using is a combination of scale color and fantasy and games. So we have the Aldendel Violet, the Innsmouth Blue, Pink Flesh, Indian Shadow, and Fuchsia. So these colors are making up what I'm painting. So it's kind of like a desaturated purpley color. For Warhammer paints, if you're ever wanting to do like full-on Warhammer, their color schemes, then you probably want to go to Citadel, but I've never used Citadel paints. I use a combination of Vallejo and Scale 75, which I really, really love. Yeah, depends on how you want your colors to be, because like I don't know Citadel very well, but apparently like they're really, really glossy. Vallejo's less glossy. Scale Fantasy and Games is less glossy again, and then like the full-on Scale color line is very matte. So it all depends on what you want in terms of coloring. So what I'm doing actually is I'm still painting in a very desaturated palette, but I use washes as a pigment to kind of change it. So these tentacle bits down here are actually going to be this color in the end. I like working with washes as tints. So just because I can't really reach a color, or I don't really think of it a color, I'm like, yeah, no, I want it to be around this. And it's these colors mixed with that wash which will create that color. So it's very fun. But adding the Innsmouth Blue into the pigment helps unify it with her skin. but I want it to get lighter as this goes up. I want this to get this this fleshy bit here. I want it to get lighter and reach this color or like this brightness at the top. But at that point, we still need to make sure that there's a good transition. I'm not too worried about the underside, because the underside is, of course, going to be very dark. Throw some fuchsia into this. And then here we're just going to get into a slightly pinkier tone. Yeah, I don't know. They're great paints, but I do use mainly Vallejo inserts. Yeah. Yeah, I when I originally started painting, I 2 years ago, I looked at the paint pots of Citadel, and I viewed them as a money-grabbing gimmick because of how much surface area gets exposed every single time you open that paint pot to grab paint. That amount of surface area gets exposed to air, and that causes your paints to dry out a whole lot faster than a dropper bottle. And also, you can't be very specific with the amount that you pull out every single time, because you have to dirty a brush or some other gathering material in order to get your paint. Which is like, and then that also increases like your amount of like time spending between gathering paints and cleaning that, and that just all in the end. So I went with Vallejo because also their color names were a lot more closer to what I was used to, which is to say, like, they have paints that are just like burnt umber, tan, like flat green, this type of green. I'm like, I'm used to these. Let's do that. And that worked very well for me for quite a while. But I wanted something a little bit higher in its quality, and that's why I went with scale 75. And I often mix between scale 75, their fantasy and games line, and their matte series to create a very similarly very matte coloring, but also has just the right amount of gloss for my liking. Yeah. The only thing I get of Citadel is their washes, Nurgle's Rot, and Blood for the Blood God. Those are the only things that I own of the Citadel line, because their washes are on point. Yeah, don't throw them. You don't throw them away. Just don't buy more if you can avoid it. And even with scale 75 bought and being my main paint, I still, like, there's a few specific colors from Vallejo that I will not give up, just because there is no good alternative to those colors in any other paint line that I have found. So I'm just like, nope, they stay those colors, and I keep using those. I'll just bring down some of this lightness. if you ever have any questions, like I'm I'm more than willing to answer to the best of my abilities. I love helping people out, especially introducing them to the world of color, because I love color. So, yes. But yeah, this model is pretty much the most I've ever had to sculpt onto something to correct it, which is all around this base to make it a little bit more more on point. So we're just gonna have that, and we're gonna throw this in here, saying that's also gonna be a lighter one. And I definitely want this top bit to be light. I don't think I want to add. Well, we can add a smidgen. I say a smidgen. That's more than a smidgen, but a smidgen of white. Just to really tip off like the tops of these. Just yeah, don't yeah. Citadel brushes are bad. They're bad quality. Army Painter paintbrushes are not that bad. I use them for washes since you should never use a natural hair brush with washes. And that's the same with inks. And technically you're not supposed to mix with them, but I do anyways. And sorry, I'm massaging my hand because it hurts, and so I might actually end pretty soon just because my hand is it's aching in between a lot of the bones. Silly dog caused a lot of issues, but I got that blended up there. So what we're basically going to be doing is kind of like observing her over the next few days, since I don't stream over the weekend. But this is the coloring as it is right now. And keep in mind her body is going to be kind of like water ripples that you see in a pool. And these are going to become a lot more like readier tones. And I'm thinking of like a black armor for her, but that might not be fanciful enough. So I'm a little bit unsure. So that's another thing. Hurting nice brushes, yeah. No, they are basically a dye to the brush, and it really breaks down the natural hairs. So I always have some synthetic brushes of various sizes for my washes. Oh, and metallic paints. That's the other one I was trying to remember. Metallic paints. Don't use natural hair brushes. Ooh, silver blue armor. Yeah, that might be a good one, Lunar. Yeah, it's basically like I'm going to be probably taking a few photos of her, and then on Photoshop working up some colors, like actually like color in these tentacles the way that these are on Photoshop, and then kind of like start pinpointing color. What I'm wanting to do is like these horns, they're probably going to go similar to the horns that I've done prior, where they go up into the beigey spectrum. Or maybe they could even just go into like a very light blue. Like a very, very, kind of like that will mix in with like the blue there. We'll play with that. I just want the colors that are in the horns to match pretty much some of the darker colors that are down here, to just tie in that color a whole lot more. And so your eye will, when you're looking at her, this is the aspect of the gaze, or the concept of the gaze. Where does your mind go, kind of thing? Like, where did your eyes flow naturally on a piece? And you want your eyes to get gravitated towards a section that you want to be the pinnacle point. You want it to be drawn to a model. You don't want it to get stuck in a spot. So you want to make sure that the thing that your eyes focus on the most is probably going to be in this area. So everything else kind of needs to like lead up to that, which will help if you have a dark purple down here and a darker color up here, probably also in the purple spectrum, just to kind of help tie it all in together and also lead your eye from one color to the next. And that kind of helps with these tentacles, because then this comes up here and it'll like the next light point will be her face. And so that will like, your eyes will just naturally move in that direction. And that's kind of what we want. Art history lesson, or like art theory lesson. Woo! A Doppler effect, yeah. I need to. This poor bent brush is so fuzzy. Do I have another one that's similar to this size? Or is this my last one of this size? Oh no, I do! Oh, brilliant! I have a brand new one that is of the same size. Yeah, framing. But it's known as the aspect of the gaze. That's G-A-Z-E, not G-A-Y-S. Thank you, art teacher, for never clarifying that. But yeah, so I'm going to stop there, actually, because my hand is not stopping and it's aching. So before it hurts even more and before I do even more damage to it, I'm going to rest it, because I've always been very, very, very nervous about carpal tunnel, and I've been in early onset for a number of years. So, but yes, get bent brushes. Bent brushes help everything. So yeah, we'll just go on over here and then figure out where I'm going to send all you lovely, fantastical people off onto, because, well, you guys have been fantastic today. And you've made my Friday just absolutely amazing. So, kitty paw brush transition, I love it. I love making those. So much fun. But yeah, let's see who is on to send you guys off onto. Pirate Monkey Painting is on. Oh man, I haven't rated him in forever, so I'm going to say yes to him. And yeah, it looks like they're just kind of starting up, maybe. So Friday night stream, Guild Ball, Ratcatcher. Ooh. So yeah, so we're gonna go raid Pirate Monkey Painting. We have, I think it's called Raid Call. Yes, there it is. And also very much social. If you guys haven't, because I know I have a few new people here today, if you haven't already, do hit that follow button so that I can see you guys again next time, because I love you all so very, very much. I also have my own Discord if you want to post up pictures of your fuzzy pets or scaly pets or whatever kind of pets you have, or images, things like that. I'm also on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all those fun social media things. I hope you guys have a fantastic, fantastic weekend. And I will be back on Monday. So I love you. I love you all so very much. And I hope that I'll see you guys again next time. Bye.